Hey there, and welcome to Large Format Friday. I'm your host, Matt Marrash. If this is the first time you're stopping by the channel, there's a playlist of our entire third season of LFF. And if you haven't subscribed yet, each and every Friday, we're going to be here and we're going to be talking about something large format. Now, we're not out in the field today. I'm here at home, just a chill, late evening. Sun's starting to set behind me. Birds are chirping. Just a nice overall day. What I wanted to do is kind of reground where we're at in the channel and define 5 of my biggest tips for somebody that's just starting out in large format. And to help me kick off, our first tip is Mr. Strudel here. He's number 1 in our lives. And number 1, start manageable. Start with a 4x5 camera. So I know watching me talk about 8x10 and ultra large format, probably the most reasonable thing you can do to get started in large format is to look into a 4x5 inch camera. Whether it be a monorail, a field camera, new, used, just stick to 4x5 for a while. This is more of a do as I say, not as I do sort of thing, because I dove right into 8x10, but it's because I had some help and some access. If I had to start all over again today, definitely go with a 4x5 camera. There's higher availability in cameras, more lenses, more films out there, roll film options, the list goes on. 4x5 is by far the most inexpensive and convenient way to get started. If you like it from there, it's no hassle to upgrade. You may have to upgrade some things along the way. Large format tip number 2, get a frickin' tripod. Now, I'm not talking about something that's just barely gonna hold the weight of the camera. You want a beast. This is the one time where you don't want to cheap out. Get a good solid set of legs. It doesn't matter how you get it, new, used, beg, borrow, steal. Get a really solid set of legs. Easily you want 2 to 3 times the max weight you plan on putting on top of the camera in tripod capacity and also in the head. I have a whole video detailing this. Admittedly, it's an early one in LFF, but I recommend checking it out. Long story short, get a good solid set of legs. If you don't have this foundation, you're gonna be chasing around blurry images, wondering what happened, what didn't happen. Chances are, it was this guy right here. So get a frickin' tripod. Oh, all right, almost time to load up some film here at 400 West Rich. Anyway, tip number 3, don't be afraid of limitations. This could be the camera, the process, don't sweat it. If you think about it this way, all of large format is limitations. You could be taking digital pictures, cell phone pictures, instant photography, but you chose this specific type and procedure when it comes to photography. Let the limitations happen. The more you learn to live with them and start accepting that they're a part of your own style and process, the sooner you're gonna start to add your own limitations. Limitations can come in many shapes and forms. It could come in the shape of, oh, this camera's got limited movements, but this one's got all of them. Anything can be a limitation when you think about it hard enough, and large format is chock full of them. So don't sweat the small stuff. Get into a camera sooner than later. Don't spend a lot of money on it because there's a lot of other accessories you're gonna need to, so just accept the limitations for what they are, part of the process. Large format starter tip number 4. Expired film is fine. I cut my chops on fresh film, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not for the faint of heart. It makes the whole process of learning things with your camera quite a bit more high risk than it needs to be. When you're dealing with large format sheet films, you're dealing with larger surface area than you otherwise would be with smaller 35mm and medium format roll films. This film I'm loading up here, it's not super expired, so we're a couple years behind, but that's gonna have almost no discernible difference versus fresh films. That's so close. The oldest film I've personally used in large format dated back to the 1970s, and things were great. I have some folks that have written into the show that have even done further back. The oldest I've seen so far was from the early 1940s. So expired film, don't sweat it. Get the reps, get practicing with it, and you don't have to go broke to shoot large format. There's also alternatives like paper negatives, direct positives, X-ray film, ortho film. If there's a will, there's a way with using some large format film that isn't necessarily fresh. And finally, large format tip number 5, learn the dance. That unique set of steps that you're gonna do leading up to the large format exposure, that's the dance. setting up the tripod, getting the camera movements down, locking things, check this, set that, open this, close that. That all goes into the dance. The more times you practice this before you start running film through your camera, the higher your success rate's gonna be. For some of us, that might be only 5 or 6 times. For me personally, it was about 100 times before I really got it down. I'm gonna link to an older video I had on the dance, and I think it's one of the biggest practices you can do to benefit your large format photography. And surprise, surprise, like any other talent and skill that you can foster, you gotta practice it. Okay, I guess I got one more. Have fun with it, right? You got into photography because you probably enjoyed this sort of thing, so have fun with it. If something currently isn't fun for you, eliminate things. Take a step back, try a new process, just eliminate something from the way it's currently happening, which is unfun, until it's fun again. Rinse, lather, repeat, and hopefully keep enjoying large format. I know I didn't go out in the field or anything today, but if you have any questions about the large format photographic process, you can always feel free to drop those down below in the comments. And for the long form stuff, shoot me an email, largeformatquestions@gmail.com. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you next week for more LFF.